Hello, welcome to Salt City Knits podcast. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast about my knitting and other crafts that I do. I am coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah, and today is May 27th, and it's episode 10. And it's been a crazy couple of weeks, which I will update you on in just a minute. But I wanted to take a minute and record a quick podcast today. So you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram at Salt City Knits, and my patterns are available on Ravelry and also at yarnbrary.com, and I will put links to all of that below. So thank you for joining me today. It's Saturday, as I said, the 27th, and there are some exciting things happening in the knitting world today, as in summer sock camp has started. So I am really excited about that. I loved joining in last year. And for those of you who are not familiar with this, it is a knit along hosted by Crazy Sock Lady, Knubblechen. And we just knit socks through the summer. And that's as simple as it is. And there's nothing you have to do to like sign up to join or anything. You just knit socks. And she has a Ravelry thread for finished objects, I believe. And also you can just post things on Instagram and tag Summer Sock Camp 2023. And you're entered into her giveaways and so on. But I think every year it gets a little bit more exciting and bigger. Last year, I know Kay had, it had gotten so big and there were so many different products that were being offered and all kinds of things like that. And this year she has trimmed that out and just brought it back to just a good old fashioned knit along, which is honestly what we're all here for, right? And so I'm really excited about that. And so as part of that, I have been talking about this for months and I finally did it. And I've made sure that all of my patterns are available on both Ravelry and at yarnbrary.com. And I have also reduced all of my sock patterns by 30%. So all of my sock patterns, I have 9 sock patterns and they are all, well, one of them is a free pattern. Anyway, the Candy Floss socks. But all of my other sock patterns are reduced price and they are available in both of those places. So I've been popping a few pictures here, hopefully, as I've been talking about my different patterns. But I would love for you to, if you want, to use some Salt City Knits patterns for your summer sock camp. But even if you don't use mine, I just hope you'll join in and knit socks with us this summer. It's a lot of fun. And I'm excited to cast on a new pair because I had just finished a pair. But before I show you my finished objects, I just have 2 finished objects. I wanted to give you a little life update and explain where I've been because I have been completely not on Instagram. I haven't been posting anything there. I also did not post a video at my regular time this week. And the reason for that is that my oldest daughter, Aria, who I know I've talked about before, she's expecting our first grandbaby. She has had some complications with her pregnancy and she has been in the hospital for about a week and a half. And we've just, obviously, our priority is to focus on being there for her and supporting her and my sweet son-in-law. And just helping them get ready for baby. Her due date is mid-July, but she is most likely going to have this baby next week. And so, yeah, it's been kind of crazy. They're doing okay, though. They really are. You know what? This is really bugging me. Hold on just a minute. Let's see if I can make this a little better. Just seemed a little high, like I was craning to talk to you. Oh, we're all human. Anyway, she's been doing okay, and she is one of the most cheerful people you'll ever meet. So her attitude and her patience and her good nature as she has gone through, a long time being stuck in the hospital with she's had things to do, but hasn't necessarily wanted to do a lot, but she's just been there for a long time and she's just cheerful and optimistic, and it's wonderful. And baby's still doing well, but like I said, it's just been kind of crazy. So most likely my new grandson will be born next week in just a few days, like 3 or 4 days. So that is wonderful. We've been working on helping to hurry and get their nursery finished and ready, and just like clean their house for them, because she hasn't been feeling well, and spending time with her there in the hospital, and just making sure that they have all the support they need. And so yeah, I would love it and appreciate if you would be willing to include them in your thoughts and prayers as we come up to this next week of having a grandson, and that everything will be well and they will be healthy. Even though he's going to be teeny and, a preemie, that all will go well. So it's been a total roller coaster. In the middle of all of that, we had all of our windows replaced because that was already scheduled. And so you know what that means, like you tear apart your whole house to do that. And then our furnace died, which meant our air conditioning wasn't working. So that had to get repaired. So that was fixed. And then our dryer died while I was trying to do my daughter's laundry and get that done for her. My dryer died. My husband is a champ. He happened to be off that day because the furnace was getting repaired that day. And I said, I can't handle it. You have to be here. And so he fixed the dryer, which was great. But wow, it's just been like one thing after another. Oh, and my oldest son and his wife, they have moved from the college town where they are living. That's about an hour and a half north from us. He's changing some directions and schooling and job stuff. And so he's no longer going to that university. And so they've moved back down closer to us. And so they were moving, and that was all happening all at the same time. So my kids are just amazing and have all just supported each other in all these different things so well. It's just been one of the best things, and my wonderful friends who have been there to help as well. So, and of course my sisters and my parents and everybody. So, yeah, it's been a little bit nuts. Now, the good thing is that my health has been fairly steady. Like, I've had my days where I've had to just rest and stay home, but it's only been a couple of those, and I've been able to do a lot. So I'm really grateful for that. That all being said, I have not been knitting as much as I normally do. And one of the projects that I have finished, I can't show you yet. It's not blocked, but I'm so excited to show you. I mentioned before that I was designing a wrap, and I showed the yarns for it last time. They were all Yarnaceous Fibers. And oh my goodness, I finished it yesterday, but I haven't blocked it yet. So I'm super excited to show that to you, hopefully next time. And I know I have the name, and the pattern is about 60% written down. So it won't take too long for me to write it up, but oh my goodness, it's so pretty and I love it. But I have finished 2 little things that I'm excited to show you. So one of them is this pair of socks. I have not blocked these socks. I may or may not block them, but I put them together. I like doing this where you just put the label for the yarn around the socks like that, especially when I'm going to give them as a gift. And these are a gift. So this pair of socks, I can't remember if I had started this. I may have started this and shown this in my last episode, but I honestly can't remember. But this is Opal Colors in Love is the yarn. And the color, I think Farba, I feel like that's the color number, is 9512. That's right. Let's see. Right there. And I really like how they turned out. Let me take this off though. They are a gift for a friend of mine, and she loves brown socks. Those are her favorite socks. And I told her, I love you so much. And she is so knitworthy and she loves her socks. But there is a limit to how much brown yarn I can just knit. So these are blue and brown. She'll love them. She will absolutely love them. She hasn't seen these yet, but she will really enjoy them. They turned out really, really nicely. As usual, I think with Opal, you have to make sure you have to do a little color management to get your stripes to line up. But, you know, it's as simple as just once you finish the first sock. Oh, I hope I don't sneeze. When you finish the first sock, you just kind of have to wind up a little ball until you get to the same spot for your next skein, and then you can start the next one. But they turned out really nice. Just a vanilla sock with a slip stitch heel. And I really based all of my kind of like how long I knit the leg, I based on color changes. So I really wanted to try and judge it. So I would have a little bit of this gray before the heel and a little bit after, so that that gray stripe there would look like it fits. And I feel like I did really well with that. So it's the same colors that were up here on the cuff. So you've got the blue section, then the brown section, then the gray, then the blue, the brown, gray, you know. So I tried to judge it so I would get, you know, kind of like the same width of gray, which is about a 4-row stripe. And so I knit 2 rows of the gray before I started my heel. And so you can see there, 2 rows plain before I started the heel. And I kind of was just guesstimating. It ended up being 5 total rows of the gray, but you're not gonna even notice that. So I just feel like it makes it look like it flows really nicely. And that way I wasn't worrying about putting in like a contrast cuff and heel and toe, but my stripes still look like they make sense. So that was kind of the goal, and I feel like it worked out quite well. As usual, I used a 2.25 millimeter needle. I like a 40-inch cable for my magic loop, and anything else? Heel flap and gusset for the heel, and a rounded wedge toe, and that is this pair of socks. And now I can give them to my friend, and she will be so happy. She has worn out almost the entire sole of the first pair of socks I've knit her, and she just loves her socks. I think this is the 4th pair I've done for her over years of time. And she just had her first grandbaby yesterday, so that was exciting. And even more exciting, her daughter had planned to have the baby in a birth center with a midwife. Very, very wonderful. And then had an unplanned, very surprise. Well, there we go really quickly, home birth. I've had 2 of my babies at home, so I'm all for home birth. But I think that mine were very different in that they were very planned, you know, like we were very ready. But I haven't heard the whole story. I'm excited to, because everybody is very well and healthy. So there's no, you know, everything's great. But it was not what the mama had planned. So I'm excited to hear about it. All right, let's see. This little guy is my other finished object. Knit this little doll for my new grandson. And this is, I cannot say this correctly. I think it's Knubblechen, a Knubblechen. And I'm gonna pull up the pattern really quick so I can show you. This is just a little German baby doll. Where are you? Maybe I will not find him. Hold on. Which I think is just really fun, and especially for babies, because the great thing about the pattern is that the way it's constructed, it is so easy for babies to grab onto their little arms and their little legs and kind of carry around. Hold on, here we go. So the pattern is on Ravelry. It's free, and it's called a Knubblechen. Let's see if I can expand that. There we go. I will link to it below. And Pezzy 888 is the designer, or the one who published it. And it's a really fun little pattern. It's got just the little, you knit this little head just as a tube, and you knit all the arms and legs, and you knit them and then tie little knots in them. And there's no stuffing in the body. It's just flat. So there's only a little bit of stuffing in the head. And then you knit the little hat, and you close up the head and put the little stuffing in, and then put a little knot in the hat and seam the hat on. So that's the only seaming. Well, there's the stitching to close the neck and close the head. It's not really seaming though, you know, it's just kind of a gathered stitch. And then you sew the hat on. My friend Margaret, actually it's both my friends Margaret and Sina, both said that they've knit a number of these for their grandchildren, and that they recommended when you finish all your decreases and you have just your last, I think it's 10 stitches on for each of these little ends, to knit on the arms and legs 10 extra rows, and that just makes it easier to tie your knots. They are a little bit tricky to tie those knots. And I only did 5 extra rounds in the head, or in the hat, and then the 10 in the arms and the legs. But the great thing about these, again, if you look, you know, little baby hands, it's easy to grab and hold on to. Margaret was describing, she's seen her grandbabies crawling around with them in their teeth, you know, you just kind of, they're a great little softie. That's really, you know, it's got some fun textures, and I used just scraps with different colors for each of the limbs and the hat. So that was kind of fun. And these are all superwash yarns, so they can go in the washing machine. And yeah, it just makes it easy for babies. So I thought that was kind of fun. You could embroider a little face, but I chose not to put a face on. And you could, you know, sew the hat on kind of more on the back of the head. I put it right on the top because it's the same front and back. So there is no front or back. It's just the same on either side. And the pattern also has instructions for if you want to add a little ruffled skirt to the little doll. So yeah, it was really fun to knit. It's a great one for little leftovers of sock yarn. You only need the tiniest bit of stuffing. You could totally stuff that with yarn ends if you didn't have any, you know, like batting stuffing to put in there. Yeah, that would be really easy to do that as well. It's just really fun. It's kind of a little, I don't know, it's just like a very old-fashioned toy, which I really like. So I got that done. And that's really, between those two things and then the secret project, that is all of my finished objects. And my only works in progress now are blankets that I'm still working on. So I have still my crochet granny stripe blanket. In fact, let me pull that out, because it's going to be kind of crinkly. I have something yarn that I want to show you I'm really excited about. My crochet granny stripe blanket, which I have in my Black Pearl Magic bag. I did work on this actually a little bit last night. I am sorry I keep sniffing. It is hay fever time right now. And I usually don't get it as bad as the rest of my family, and at least not at the same time. The rest of my family, their allergies have calmed down a little bit, but mine in the last just 2 days have just, whew, I woke up sneezing this morning. All right, so here is where I've got all kinds of little ends and stuff hanging out, which is honestly fine. But this is where I am so far. And I think last time I showed it, I was probably about right here. So I've added that much. It's just fun scraps. And I am just changing yarns whenever I get to the end of my little scraps, trying to use things up, which is so fun. And I'm making this is kind of a baby blanket size. It's not like a throw or anything size. So these are some of the yarns that let's see if I can even show them, that I still have in here. So there's some fun brights, muted, just all kinds of stuff. I've got my little notions tin in there. Anyway, lots of fun. I'm really enjoying that now that I picked it back up again last night. I forget how much fun it is. Oh, I do have another finished object. I totally forgot to talk about that. I finished another one of my star blankets, my star baby blankets. So I will put a picture in here. I did show this one before. This was the Sleep Under the Stars throw, or I think it's called the throw. I keep having to look it up every time, don't I? I cannot remember it to save my life. Sleep Under the Stars blanket by Paintbox Yarns. And this was a gift for my friend Grace for her new baby. I wasn't able to be at her shower because that was last weekend. No, it was 2 weekends ago, and I was just absolutely wiped out. And then and plus I had been taking care of Aria. That was the day that things started to get not good with her, and she ended up in the hospital just a couple days later. But I was able to send the gift with some friends, and I actually snapped a quick picture before I packaged it up, just sitting in my car. So it's a really great photo. But then Grace sent me a couple of pictures from when she opened it up, and she loves it. She just really is happy with it. And I have talked about this in, I think, two previous episodes. So if you would like more information on that, you can definitely go back to those episodes and see more. So yeah, I totally forgot about that one. So yes, my only works in progress right now are that scrappy granny stripe blanket and then just blocking and finishing up the pattern for my new design. One thing before I finish up, I wanted to also show some amazing yarn that I recently got. Ooh, it's crinkly, and I know that can be really loud in headphones, so I'm sorry. But look at this gorgeousness. Isn't that beautiful? These three colors are from Candy Shop Yarns, and she has a new Mermaid collection. It is to die for. It is absolutely to die for. So I ordered these three colors. I got 2 of this one and 2 of this one, and then 1 of this one. And I wish I could tell you what all the names are. I need to look it up. I will post it below in the show notes, what the names are of the first color, second color, and third color. So that's what I will do. First, second, and third. But I wish you could see. Oh, you can maybe a little bit. It's so sparkly, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I had the hardest time picking colors. They're just absolutely stunning. So I just had to share those. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do some kind of a design with one of these skeins and both of these, and then something else with one of this one and that one. So kind of excited about that. Anyway, I wanted to make sure to share those. Go over to Candy Shop Yarns. They're beautiful. And so the last thing I wanted to talk about was my shawl pattern Dixie Creek, which I've, mentioned several times here, but it will be published before I record again. So I will be publishing it on Friday, June 2nd. It will be coming out and it will be on both yarnberry.com and Ravelry. And my test knitters are amazing. They are so great. It has been really fun. You can look on Instagram under Dixie Creek Shawl as the hashtag, and to see some of their works in progress and finished objects there. And it's so fun to see your pattern come to life in different yarns and, different colors, even different yarn combos. It's really, really neat. So I have just been over the moon with seeing those come through, and yeah, it's just really exciting. So that will again be published on Friday, June 2nd, and I will post on Instagram about that. And that is about all I will be probably able to manage at that point, because we will most likely be taking care of my daughter and her new baby. So lots going on. But this is, even though this has been a crazy time, it's been a really joyful time in connecting with my family and getting some great knitting done. So I wanted to share those things with you. I wanted to thank you for all of your support too, and the kind notes and messages that you send and comments. I so appreciate your comments. I read every single one, and I try to respond. I'm not perfect at it, but I try to respond to everybody, and I really appreciate it. So I will most likely be recording again on my regular Tuesday, which will be, what day of the week is that? What day of the month is that? 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, June 6th. That's hopefully when I will be recording again next. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great time with your knitting, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.